those are our deliverables for today's lecture. Like at the end of lecture, we have at least those things built out. So I can see some words like doctor, patient, appointments, and something. So that is going to be our today's domain. So what we're going to talk about is, suppose everyone has a doctor, right? Multiple doctors. Skin doctor, like if you have some other kind of problems, then we have different kind of doctors there, and we usually meet them like for a regular checkup, for like hair loss or something. So here we have a class for doctor. Then ourself is going to be patient. Yes? So there are chances there are a couple of doctors and there are a couple of patients. Right? So as a patient, I am going to two doctors, and doctor has obviously multiple patients. Yes? So now the relationship is many to many. Like doctor has many patient, patient has many doctors. So how are we gonna build this? Like yesterday, if it belongs to a something, then we were just storing the information about the other class object in the class that it belongs to that class. Like in tweet belongs to user, so we were just storing information about the user inside a tweet class. So can I do like I am just going to store my patient inside my doctor class, and I'm going to store my doctor inside my patient class? Is that going to work? What do you guys think? No, that's not going to work for sure, because we are sticking to this single responsibility principle. That means we already have a class that is responsible for doctor, so that is not making sense to storing doctor in a patient class, like creating the full array, not a single, because it's a many-to-many relationship. So before we look into solution, what we can do about this thing, I'm going to reinforce few stuff from tomorrow. So we have this doctor class, and for doctor, I have just one thing, that is name. And for patient, we have name and number, okay? And suppose for doctor, we have name and number as well. Doctor's name, doctor's number, patient's name, patient's number. So if I want to create all these things, first of all, let's follow the steps that we talk about that steps yesterday. What is the first step? Exactly. Build the class. So from scratch, we're going to build a class called doctor.rb. Okay, so we have a class, then it's doctor and the class. Okay, what was the second step? I'm just going to, if we are following the step, I'm going to write those steps here again. So we created a class. Second step, initialize. Exactly. So we're gonna initialize and def initialize. How many attributes my doctor's object will have? Two so far. So one is name and second one is number, and I'm gonna end it. Okay. Then we say at name equals name, at number equals number.
Instance variables for the instance method.
Yeah, this is not initialize is not an instance method. How initialize works is when you do doctor.new, as soon as you call .new, initialize method call by itself. That's what class provides us, that's functionality about initialize method. So this is not we are going to call on particular instance. It's just like as soon as you create a new object, this method is just going to call by itself. That's what after .new, this is the first thing that's happening. Okay, now we are done with initialize method. What is the third step?
Setter and getter.
Setter and getter. So it's called attribute macros. So let's give everyone attribute accessor at this moment, because I believe we can give some read and write, but let's give attribute accessor. First one is name, second one is number. Okay, now we have name, we have number. What is the next thing that we need to do? So third thing is attribute macros. Fourth thing, creating objects. Still we are, so I believe when you create a class, at least build that class fully. When I say build the class fully, that means if I say all the information about the class, if I say I want to know all the objects for my class, so that is going to be my fourth step. Fourth step is a class variable. Create a class variable called edit all and assign it with empty array. That is going to be the fourth step. So we are going to do edit all and assigning it with empty. Now, since we created added all and this array, our fifth step is as soon as we create the object, we need to put that object inside our class variable. Yes?
Yes.
So,
Dot self or something?
yes, so added all and then shovel self. But you need to put this inside which method?
Initialize.
Exactly, because whenever we create object, that object we want to shovel into our class variable. So added all self. Okay. Now, sixth step.
Oh, we make a self method.
Exactly. We're gonna make a class method that will give us all the objects that we have for this class. So it's going to be self.all. So def self.all and what this method does?
That puts the knowledge of the self into the class array.
Can you elaborate that more?
Well, I know that we put everything that goes in that when we're in the initialize when we're shoveling in the self into add all, the class method allows for that to happen.
So no, it's like here we are already pushing them into array. What this method does is just return that array to you. It's just like when you do self.all, create the method, it just return that array to you.
So it returns the objects from the class.
It returns the class variable that is an array, and that inside that array, it's all objects of the class are stored. So it's gonna return a class object in which we are storing all the objects there. Class variable. Okay? Ooh, done. Dr. Class build with all this 6 step, and there are so many wires here. Okay, so we have all the 6 step and we build, and somewhere in middle I changed the color, but that doesn't mean these 2 are important. All are important.
So
yes, Nash.
Step 5, does that have like a name to it?
I would say like if you want to give it a name, you can tell it like as soon as you create the object, shovel it to class variable.
Sure.
That's what you can call it. But like all these steps are kind of not naming steps. It's just like when you create a class, we are just gonna follow this step. So you will not miss a single point, at least in the beginning when you create the class. Because right now we haven't created any other instance method or a class method at this moment. Okay, Dr. Class, done. Yes? How about I'll give you guys 5 minutes, build patient class for me. Patient class, okay? And you will have this code in front of your eyes. You have this 6 steps in front of your eyes. I'm gonna give you guys 5-minute timer. Everyone build patient class for me. And patient has 2 attributes, name and number as well. So your time starts now. Still feel fine. And I want everyone to stick to the step. It's like after you have attribute macros, then and only then go for added all. Okay? So just like this is for your reference. Don't like just like from line 1 to 19 without copying, just like go with the steps. The solution to the task that I gave you, that we need to create a patient class. Oops, my bad. It's okay. Now we're gonna create class patient. Step 1, check. Okay. Step 2, initialize method. So def initialize. We have name and number. Then we say name equals name, number equal number. Done. Done with step 2. Third step is attribute macros. So I'm gonna give attribute accessor to name and number. And now we came to step number 4, that is added all. That means create a class variable with empty array. So we're gonna create a class variable with empty array. Once we have the class variable, then it's like shovel. As soon as you create a new object, so shovel that into your class variable. So added all self, and then last step we are creating a class method that will give us all the objects for that particular class. So it's self dot all, and then we return added all. Okay. Any doubt, question, confusion until this point? Okay. Anyone wrote code in a different way? Okay. Sure.
Oh, really? I have one more question.
Yes.
So then, from my notes, when we create the class array at all, how did you word it? Like, what's it?
It's a class variable. Just create a class variable and initialize with an empty array.
Okay.
If you want to word it, you can word it like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, done. Now it's time to connect those two. But we said like, oh, they have many-to-many relationship. Now is the time. You can see my pretty drawing there. So we have a class. Okay, that's not a circle, but assume it as a circle. It's a little better. So we have doctor. We have patient there. Okay, and they have many-to-many relationship. Usually, just think about the information that they both will have. So I'll say like appointment time. That's the information they both will have for like, okay, I have an appointment with XYZ doctor at 12 p.m. or at 1 p.m. So appointment. So if I have an appointment there, where I'm going to store that time?
You're gonna have to create a class for it.
Exactly. Appointment is going to be itself a new class. Why? Let's see that first. So first of all, appointment is going to be the class itself, and this class we're going to call this a joiner class. So we call it joiner class because this class joins the information about both the classes. So that means if I have an appointment with one doctor, just one, so my appointment class will have appointment time, my information, and my doctor's information. Just one. So the whole appointment object will have three things: my information, doctor's information, and appointment's information. Then we don't need to worry about all other doctors or all other patients. So that's what joiner class does. Whenever, okay, it's a thumb rule in Rails or in Ruby. Whenever you have a many-to-many relationship, you have to have a joiner class. Because it's many-to-many, so it's not advisable to store information inside each other's class. You have to have a joiner class. And when I say a joiner class, now what is going to be the relationship between all these three classes? We know doctor and patient is many-to-many, right? We just introduced this joiner class. So how this joiner class is connected with both of them? So yesterday we are already aware about one-to-many. Yes? So it's going to be a doctor has many appointments, and an appointment belongs to a doctor.
Oh, that's the has to belong to.
Yes. So doctor has many. So for many, I am writing M in there, and for belongs to, I'm writing B in there. So doctor has many appointments, and single appointment belongs to a doctor. Likewise, a patient has many appointments, but an appointment belongs to a patient. Right? So that is going to be a relationship with doctor, patient, and appointment. Okay, so let's look at these deliverables a little bit. A doctor has many appointments. Appointment belongs to a doctor. We already know how to build this. Yes? From yesterday's content. Are we aware about how to build one-to-many relationship? So let's start building that first point. So first of all, I said like we want appointment class. So we say appointment.rb, and then we say class appointment and end it. So for this appointment class, okay, we are done with the first step. Second step is create the initialize method. Okay, what is going to be attributes for this joiner class?
Doctor, patient.
I think it's initialized. I think you made it try.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah. So as I say, for this initialize method, we're gonna have we're gonna have some information about the object. What are going to be those objects?
Doctor and patient.
Doctor, patient, as well as some extra information. So not the time, not the name. We're gonna, like yesterday when we do many-to-many, we just give reference to the full object, not just the name. So what we're gonna do here is, right now, just for now, let's think about we are building this portion. Doctor and appointment, one-to-many. Don't worry about this portion at this moment. We're just gonna divide it into two parts so we understand what's going on behind the scene. So we say, doctor has many appointments, appointments belongs to a doctor. So whenever you have belongs to, that class will have information from other class. So for sure, I need doctor's information there, and I need the time. What is the appointment time? Like you can say appointment duration or time, anything, whatever you want to put there.
Like time is when it starts. Duration is how long the appointment is.
Yeah, so you're gonna put more things in there. We can put it there like duration, or we can add how many extra information that we want But the main thing is that will connect those two classes is the doctor's object, like yesterday. So here we are going to do at doctor equals doctor, and then at time equals time, at duration equals duration. Okay, done with step 1. Step 2, attribute macros and all other stuff. So let's start building that. So we're gonna say attribute accessor, and we give everyone read and write like getter and setter method to every our attributes, and we say duration. Perfect. Step 3, creates a class variable with and initialize with an empty array. Step 4, yes, shovel the new object into class variable. So edit all, shovel self. Last step, create a what it's called.
Class method.
Exactly, it's called a class method. Creating a class method. So we're gonna say def self.all, edit all, and end it. Oops. Okay, perfect. Created this class. Now, what is the important thing when you write your code? We learned about test-driven development, right? If you have a test, you can read the test and write it. What if you don't have test? Who is going to test your code? Sorry? Exactly. Binding, like using debugger or any like put statement, but we are the first person who should test this code, not the tester. Like when you go and work in a team, not the tester should be the first person to test your code. You are the first person to test your code. So from today, we're gonna build that habit to test our own code. So, and I believe in today's padding lab, we don't have test. So it's time to test your own code, write the code and test your own code. So how I'm gonna test it is, I'm gonna create a file like what we did yesterday, an entry point to our application that is called run.rbe. Now, what is the first thing that we need here? If I wanna create the object for all other classes,
Oh, you have to have a relative?
Require relative. We need to do require relative. So we do require underscore relative. What is the first file? So I'm just gonna say exactly doctor.rb. Second file.
So you can't say like require, just require.
No, it's going to be require relative because we are requiring the other file. Require is like once you have to require a package or gems, like how we require pry.
And it can't take commas.
Which one?
Require.
Yeah, you need to require, if you need more things, you need to do require a couple of times. So here, if we do patient, okay? Now we have now we have this required relatives. I'm about to use binding.pry. So I'm gonna do require pry. Okay, putting binding.pry here, putting just a 0 there because it's not gonna work if it's the last line for your program. And now now let's start creating objects for it. Okay, so we're gonna say d1, that is going to be our doctor1, doctor dot new. Doctor needs a name. Give me a good doctor name. House? Okay. So do you want to say Dr. House? Dr. House. And some numbers. I'm just giving some random number to this doctor.
Oh.
We have Dr. 2. What is the name?
Jekyll.
Jekyll? Jekyll. Did I spell it correct? Or
K-Y-L.
K-Y-L?
J-E-K.
Jekyl. Okay?
Yeah, one more L.
One more L? Perfect. Better with that name. Yes, Mario?
Will you need something else because we have duration?
That is for appointment.
Oh,
We are
that's
talking
right.
about the
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah,
So
yeah.
doctor takes two things, name and number.
You're right.
So we have a number there for this one as well. So we have these two doctors. Let's create, right now I'm just creating appointment for the doctor. So I'm going to say appointment 1, appointment, not dot new. Okay, now for appointment, what do we need? 3 things. What is the first thing? Doctor. So what I'm going to pass as my first argument in here?
One of the doctors.
One of the doctors. So D1 or D2. Exactly, yes. So we're going to write, suppose D1, then some time. So I'm just going to say 12 p.m. and duration. So we're going to say, that was it's too long. 30 minutes? Nobody wants to stay at doctor for more than 30 minutes. 30 minutes, okay? So let's say 30 minutes. Then we have second appointment with the same doctor but at 2 p.m. And then we have third appointment with Dr. 2 at 11 a.m. for 30 minutes. Okay? We created few doctors, few appointments there. It's time for tests. Okay. So I'm going to say Ruby run.rb. Okay. I'm in binding pry. Now can anyone help me how I'm going to start testing my own code? Like, what is the first step that you check? Like, oh, I cannot create this and it's working.
You have to both one of the call on the doctors.
Exactly. So we created few objects for doctors, right? But we don't know are they actually created or something. For sure, it's not giving us an error. But to test our own code, how about, and to check like, oh, where I'm passing name is actually going there or it's going inside the number or something else. So we're just going to do D1. Perfect. It's good. Now let's test the same thing for appointment. Okay. Yes, it's taking the doctor instance in there, duration and time. Good. So we have this thing working. Now we have D1 and D2, D1, A2, like doctors and appointments are working correctly. That means whatever code we wrote so far is good. Still so far we wrote few more things that we haven't tested yet. We wrote a class method. We need to test that as well. So we're going to say it's a class method. So we will say doctor.all. Oops, my bad. I have 2 R. All. Perfect. We have 2 doctors there. And then we have appointment.all. And we have all the appointments there. Perfect. What it should return me?
Oh, nothing. We're on the
Empty array because we don't have any patients yet, right?
Right.
So far, so good. We built this relationship between doctor and appointment one-to-many. What is the second relationship that we have to build? Still, we are left. So when we have many-to-many and a joiner class, the joiner class will have one-to-many relationship with the 2 other classes. So we built the half portion. Still, we are left with the half part. And that is patient and appointment side. So for that, I'm just going to exit this one. Here, do I need to change anything inside my patient? Exactly, nothing. We don't have to change anything because patient has many appointments. Appointments belongs to a patient. Do I need to change anything inside my appointment? Yes, or no?
Yes.
Whoever is saying yes, just can I see some thumbs up? And who is saying I don't know? That is fine as well. Okay, so now we are going to connect this appointment and patient class together. So for that connection, we have to say that, oh, this appointment belongs to this particular patient. That means we want patient in there as well with the doctor. So our joiner class will have instances from both doctor and a patient class. So doctor, patient, time, duration, and we're going to say at patient equals patient. And now let's see this. So we have patient 1, patient dot new, takes name. I don't want to make any one patient here. So let's say Jandal. Can you spell it for me? G or J?
John Doe.
John. And then
D-O-E.
D-O-E. Is fine? Okay, perfect. And now some number in there with not with the R and E. I don't know if this person sees this like, what you guys think? Why am I patient? And we have patient 2, and I'm gonna use I'm gonna use a Friends. Are you guys fan of Friends? Like Friends TV show? I'm a huge fan. You guys see a lot in my colors, like I'm using those guys' name. So I'm just gonna use Joey. Chandler. He's so good. Okay. So we have I think Ross can be a doctor. Okay, we have this patient. We have okay. Now can I test this code? If yes, and if no, why no?
I was thinking that how will it know that you're talking about the patient like 5?
Exactly. We haven't passed anything in our appointment. So do you guys remember in our initialize, we included a patient in there, but when we are creating, we are just passing 3 things. It's going to give us error that, oh, what's going on in there? So for sure, we need to say Dr. 1 with patient 1, Dr. 1 with patient 2, and Dr. 2 with patient 1. Okay? Now, if we hit this, ooh, good. We got some error there. Can anyone tell me? We have P1 and P2 there. Why the error is there? But I said I defined it like number 16 and 17. Why? Exactly. We used it before and we are defining afterwards. Ruby reads from top to down. So if we don't define this before, at line number 12, it's going to say, I don't know what is P1 and P2. So, okay. And now, it's there. So let's test. P1, good. And now if I do A1, oh, so we have doctor, we have patient, and we have everything about their information there. Good. So we build actually the full relationship between doctor, patient with the use of joiner class called appointment. Okay. Now, yesterday we saw about like, oh, if I'm a doctor, I want only my appointments. That's it. I don't want any other doctor's appointment. Yes? Like yesterday we were looking, I just want to see my tweets. That's it. I don't want to see any other's tweet. So, inside doctor class, what we're going to do here is, okay, first of all, we are trying to reach to this deliverable. So, but before that, why we need to reach this deliverable. So a doctor has many patients through appointment. So actually we have this joiner class, right? If I need information about the patient and I say like, oh, I want all of my patient, can I get that information just using this 2 class? No, because the appointment is the joiner class that has common information from both the classes. So if I want any information about the patient from my doctor class, I have to go from appointment. And likewise, from my patient class, I want any information about doctor class, I need to go from the appointment class. Okay, so to go through appointment class, we know it's a one-to-many relationship between doctor and appointment. So inside doctor, I'm gonna build okay, let me write this. I'm gonna build appointments. What kind of method is this? It's an instance method. We can call this method only on the instances. So we have appointment method. So what this method does is it will return all the information about my appointments, only appointments that are associated with me or whoever the doctor that is running this method. So first of all, if I want to find out few appointments out of the all appointments, what I need? Iterate through what? Appointments. You appoint all the appointments. So we can do appointments dot all, or it's appointment. It's appointment. Yeah. Here comes a nice thing about naming convention. In Ruby and Rails, the naming convention are like your class name have to be singular. It's like you will not encounter any error at this moment, but when you reach Rails, so it's nice best practice. If you build that practice from now on, every class name have to be singular, not the plural word. Like it's going to be either doctor, student, teacher, something, not doctors, students, or teachers. Never. It's just going to be a singular word. So we can do appointment.all. Sorry?
None of them have T, so it'll mess up if you put the T.
Oh! Why didn't you guys tell me before? Okay, so now it's gonna mess up, so I'm not gonna change it, but otherwise we're gonna. Why did you guys tell me before? Okay, I think I am missing T here, right? Never mind. We'll add in everyone. We don't want. Yeah, we're gonna change everything. Don't worry. But just here it's smaller case A, and here appointment, and then let's rename this with okay. This should be fine, but I am not sure. So test it. Without testing, never resume it. Okay, so it works fine. Everything's fine. No error. Okay, so in doctor, I want all of my appointments. So we say appointment.all. Okay, what kind of iterator we are going to use here? What we want the few appointments out of the all appointments. We don't want the all appointments. So exactly. So whenever you have to select something, just make sure in your mind you think about select or find, and then you think like, oh, I want one or I want more things. If I want just one thing out of the list, then it's going to be fine. If I want more than one thing, like that meets my condition, then it's going to be select. So it's going to be select. So all dot select. Okay, I'm going to stick to do and end. If you are familiar with the curly braces that we used yesterday, you can stick to that. But it's a nice practice if you stick to one pattern throughout your program. Like at least throughout your application. Like somewhere you put do and end, somewhere you put curly braces. It's not going to break your code, but it's better to you stick to one pattern throughout your code. So do, each one I'm calling it appointment, and here. Now, what is going to be our condition? For selecting. What are we comparing in from appointment?
All of your appointments.
All of your, but we are in which class?
Doctor.
So we are comparing that appointment dot doctor is equal
To appointment that patient?
ooh, do we have patient in there? Can we compare doctor equals patient?
No, self.
Self, because we are inside the doctor class, I want all the appointments that are associated with particular doctor instance that we are running this appointment method on. So it's going to be a self. So self, and now, don't believe me, test it. Run. We have doctor 1 dot appointment. It's S. And then, here you go. All the appointments. Yes? Perfect. Now, likewise, we have these appointments all. And for all the appointments, I got these appointments for myself. What if a patient wants to know all their appointments? We have to do the same thing. So it's going, I'm just calling it like same thing, appointments. And here we're gonna do the same thing. Appointment dot all dot select do each one. We're gonna call appointment, and I am inside the patient class now, right? So I'm gonna check if the appointment's patient is equal to myself, not the doctor. So in doctor class, we did appointment.doctor, but we are in patient class. We are looking for appointment for the patient. So it's going to be appointment.patient equals self. Okay? And test it. So it's going to be patient 1. Oops, not doctor 1. It's going to be patient 1 dot appointment undefined method patient. So that means they are saying there is no patient for appointment. So where should be the problem?
Oh, in the macro, in the assessor.
It's good. Sorry?
Yeah, the assessor doesn't have patient.
Exactly. It doesn't have an accessor for patient. It's like, where is this patient? I don't know. So see how testing is important. So, and make sure guys, even as I'm doing, I'm writing a small method, I'm testing it right away. If you write like 10 methods and then test it, it's very hard to debug it and just find out the actual error where it is coming from. Because sometimes we use the methods that we already defined in some other methods. So we need patient in there. So now, if we run this, we have all the patient information. Yes, Mario?
I know this is kind of a crazy question, but so like, when we have the two separate classes, that's not considered dry, right?
Yeah. That's not. We are not repeating ourselves at all because they are totally two different classes.
Okay.
And there is no question that is crazy or stupid. Every question is means something.
So,
Yes?
from what you just said, it sounds like it's better to have a shorter version of a program that works than a long version that doesn't work. Is that right?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. If you are saying that because it's like if you, it's about the testing, like write the 10 function rather than writing 5. Yes, I would say that. And even in encoding, you have to have, even you have small application, but that's working, that is good. Rather than a huge application with couple of errors, bugs, and that is not working. It's like, what this person made? And like, you're like, we are coding and we did our hard work for like 2 weeks, and you're like, we did so much coding, but it's never working. It's like, it's hard to test at that moment. So in week 3, we're gonna have a lecture on how to write your own test. We don't reinforce that much during the program, but once you know it, it's right. Like sometimes if you get a chance, it's better to write your own test cases before you build your code. Because when you work in your work environment, they will give you deliverable first. So that means usually in the team there is a tester, they already write the test, but the coder should be able to test his or her own code. Okay, so now we have this thing built. Okay, here comes a part. Now I want just the patient for my appointments. So here is the part. I want information from doctor class for my patient class. So I'm gonna start like this. First of all, I will define a method called patients. Okay. As I say, we cannot go directly to the patient class because there is no information to match between patient and doctor. We have common information in appointment class. Yes? So what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I will say, suppose I'm taking appointments equals, and I'm using this. Or actually, let me just call it app. So this will give me, so my app is going to give me all the appointments that I am the doctor is associated to. I'm not a doctor, sorry. A doctor is associated to. That will give me all the appointments. Yes? Yes or no?
No, that will give you all your appointments, right?
I'm saying that if this is going to give me all the appointments that is the particular doctor is associated to. Yes? Because it's an instance method. We are running this on an instance. Okay? Now, once I have all the appointments, so suppose out of 10 appointments, 3 are a particular doctor's appointment, and we have this list of appointments. Can I pull out patient from that appointments? Yes, because patients are stored inside our appointments. So what we're gonna do is, now we have app that is all the appointments dot. Now what we want array, or we want list of the patient. So which this app is going to be an array. So which iteration we are going to use? Each returns the actual array itself. We want the list with the patient. So we will use dot map. We're going to use dot map because dot map returns the new array. So we're going to do each one. First of all, do each one I'm calling A, and what I want to return, what I want to put inside my new array, I want appointment dot patient. I want each patient from that appointment, and I want to return that app, right? Okay? And I'm going to store this inside something called results or something, and then now let's test this. So I said I want all the patient for a particular doctor. So we have T1, and then we're going to do patients. I get all the patients that are only associated with doctor. I think this doctor has both the patients. So let's try this on doctor 2, and there is just one patient. Okay? So this is how we're going to do it, that we have, what are we doing is, first of all, we are going to our appointments class, grabbing all the appointments. I'm only grabbing the appointments that are associated with me, and out of those appointments, I'm pulling out the patient. So I know that what patients are coming to me. Okay, I am breaking some rule that we are talking about since last 2 or 3 days. Can anyone tell me what is the rule that I'm breaking? Dry. Exactly. I'm repeating myself. I already wrote this method here. Why I am writing that same code again?
You could just do app equals appointments.
So yes, we can just do appointments. Appointments is going to give me an array. So you can do app equals appointments likewise, and let's test it. Okay, works. But there is one more thing. We know this appointment method is giving us giving us array, right? Can I, instead, I'm just going to comment this. Instead of app.map, can I just do appointment.map and not even storing in there? Is this going to work? Yes, it's just refactored code. Appointment, this method is going to give us an array back, and then we are mapping through it. Okay, so I'm going to exit it out, run it, works. Okay, so it's just like we are eliminating those middle variables that are actually just passing value from one point to another. We still have this appointment. Okay, what kind of method is this? Patients. It's an instance method. Appointments is instance method as well. So actually, at this point, what's going on is it's actually doing this. That means on the same object, on the same instance, they are first calling appointments method. Whatever result they get, they map through it, and then they return the patient from it. So this is equivalent to this. Okay? It's just like self means the object itself, where we are running this method, and then it's going appointment. But since this is an instance method as well, we don't need to worry about writing the self there. It's just like if anyone is figuring out like how this is running behind the scene, that's how. Yes, Mario?
So is that what I think I saw in the lecture the other day? So is that like the implicit and explicit or something like that?
Yeah, we talk about implicit and explicit self before. So implicit, that means it's pointing towards a particular object. So here it's going to be an implicit self. But when we write a method name that is pointing toward the full class, that is going to be an explicit self. Like self.all when we define that. Okay. Any question, concern, confusion? Let's look at this README. Are we done with this point? Yes, no, don't know. If yes, show me thumbs up. The highlighted part. Okay, so our doctor has many patients through appointments. Done. It's time to build a relationship other way around. Like if a patient wants to know about the doctors, how are they going to know? So inside the doctors, it's kind of a same thing, but here I'm going to say I want to know about the doctors that I am visiting for my appointments. So we have these doctors. I am not going to write this all code again, since already we have a method that is doing that is grabbing all the appointments that are associated to me. So we are just going to do appointments dot which iterator we are going to use over here? Map, because we want a new array with the list of doctor. So we're going to do map, do each one I'm calling A, and and we say A dot what we want.
Appointment.
A is appointment itself.
Oh, right,
Like,
right.
yeah. So out of appointment, what information we want? Exactly. It's a doctor. So now, don't believe me. Test it. We have both the doctors for patient 1. So now, as I say, we are done with the last deliverable itself. Okay? Now, I wanna guys give you a few more things. This is about the single class, right? When you have many-to-many relationship, what are the steps that we did and you can follow whenever you have many-to-many relationship? So, first of all, build the joiner class. Likewise, and joiner class will have instance from both the other classes. Then, create a method that will give us instances from a joiner class that are belongs to the class, like this appointment method in both the classes. That is the second. Third is create a method that will give you information from the other class that you have many-to-many relationship with using the joiner class on both the classes. I'm going to give you these wordings in a little better way. Don't worry about it. It's just like what we did today. That's what we did. First of all, creating the class, joiner class has instance from both the classes. We created a method that is giving us all the instances from a joiner class that belongs to the class. And then we created a method that is giving us all the instances from the other class that we have many-to-many relationship using the joiner class instances. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Then we are done for the day.